Okay, so today we come back to a dictionary lesson. So today what is going to be covered uh, so data accession in dictionary. We're gonna learn how to iterate over members in a dictionary using for dictionary modification and creation, and shallow copy and deep copy. Okay, and if we can go further, we can reach the basic operations that we can use with a dictionary. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so given a dictionary, we have learned already how to access each element one by hand, right? By using the key that is associated with the value that we want to know. Okay, so next is how we access each element repetitively, like automatically. We can use it. We can use for to do this. So we say for k, this can be any variable names, okay? In phone book, this is like what we have done in list or string, right, or tuple. But the thing is, we need to keep in mind that this will iterate over keys of the dictionary named phone book. Okay, so if you want to access the value that is associated with each key, we still need to access it by the dictionary's name and using the key inside the pair of this bracket. Okay, so if I run this, it's gonna print out the key and then colon because I specified colon here, and the value that is associated with this key, which is then, okay? And the next one is like, the next key is beam, right? And the value can be a list, so I can print a list as well. So this value is a list in the next iteration. And this is in the last iteration, we can get this. Also keep in mind that the order is not in like is not the same as we put it in the dictionary at the beginning. So there is no order. Okay. Okay. So another way we can use this. So maybe I think this is not necessary anymore. Okay. So we can use here. For k in phone book dot keys. So we're gonna talk about the function of a dictionary again later on. But for this one, so we can notice that keys followed by a pair of parentheses. So it means that keys is a function. It is a function of a dictionary. So we need to use with a dictionary variable, okay, or a dictionary, and it's gonna enumerate. What is enumerated here is the same as above. So it's like this will iterate at a time. Okay, so if I have the same statement here, the result will be the same. Okay. And another way is we can iterate over just only the values. So if we don't want to know the keys, so we can use dot values here as a function of a dictionary, like phone book dot values, to let the program enumerate just only the value. So most of the time I change the variable name here as well to v, just to remind myself that what is enumerated are values. Okay, if I print v here, it's going to be only the phone numbers. Okay, we can see that if we iterate over the values using this method, we cannot access any keys at all, right? Okay, this is the last way that we can iterate over the elements or the items in in the dictionary. Okay, so if I change the variable name here to I, in order to remind myself that it's going to be an item at each time. So this will, so I'm going to note here that if we iterate each value for this one, I'm going to say like this will iterate each item. And we know that an item in a dictionary is a pair of a key and a value, okay? Okay, so if I print I, what's gonna happen is we like for each time iteration, we gonna get a tuple of keys and what and value that is associated with it, right? So if I print also the type of I, we're gonna see that all the every time that it iterates over the item, it's like the program will give us a tuple. Okay, even though the value of beams is a list, it's gonna be like a tuple of keys and value. Okay, so if you know this, like every time it it will give us a pair of key and values, we can do this because we know that this function will return or actually will iterate, will give us two values always, right? So we can separate it, like have different variables to cache it. So I use K and V just to remind myself that for the first item that it will return to us is the key, and the second one is the value. Okay, so what I am gonna print is maybe K, which is the key, and maybe colon and value here, just to separate between key and value. Okay, see? So we can access each item, like each key for each item and each value easily. Okay, okay. Okay, so this is like the ways that we can access each element in the dictionary automatically, like for every element, just using two lines, like using for. Okay. Okay, so the question is, if we have a dictionary called data here, can you write a program to show each key value pair using for? Of course, you can do it, right? So because here data has different values, like for example, they can have a list as a value. They can have just only an integer as a value. They have also a tuples, a tuple as a value, a tuple as a key, something like this. So I want you to know what's gonna happen or what gonna print out or what gonna be iterated at each round when we use for. Okay, we can do it together. So maybe if I use for K and V here in phone book dot items, and I gonna print as before. Okay, so we can see here, oh no, we we need to change to data, right? Okay. I haven't run this code. Okay. Okay, see, we can extract each pair of keys and values down here. Okay, there's nothing, right? Okay, next, here. Given a phone book dictionary below here, so this is the same as we have seen before, can you write a program to find out whose this number is? Like this number should be Dan, right? If you know the dictionary. But imagine if this dictionary contains a millions of phone numbers of people in Thailand. So how can we search for this number? Like, can you do? So my question is, can we do this? Can we access it using a phone number? No, right? Because a phone number here is a value. It is not a key. So if we run this, the error will happen saying that key error. There is no there is no key that is like a phone number like this, right? Okay, this is key error. What can we do? Can you give me some code? We expect an output like this. Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot to open the chat. Okay. Use if. Okay. Okay, Nida and Natalia sent me like kind of a puzzle that I need to solve. Okay, so for if any one of you can do this, you can send me a clue as well. For KV in phone book, can we write this? No, right? Because this will iterate only keys. So if we do this, for example, what gonna happen? Like print KV. It's gonna raise an error called value error, like too many values to unpack, because it's gonna give you just only a key, right? But we have two variables to cache it. It is too many. Okay, so what we gonna do is we need to call the function items as not to get corrected. And then we need to check if, because we want to find this number, right? If what? If v, yes, equal string, right, of this number, because we know that it is a string. If yes, we're gonna print only the key, which is the name that is associated with this number. It is the key. Yay, we got that. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. So, can you create a phone book dictionary that we can search by phone number? Like, given a phone number here, can we create a new phone book that we can search by a phone number? Yeah. So the easiest way, if you know that a phone book has only the like 3 items, so we can just create it by hand, like phone number here, right? So using your phone number as a key and the value to be like name here. But if there is like if there are millions of them, how can we do that using for? Okay, so I'm gonna leave the code here first because actually we haven't learned how to create a dictionary using like from an empty dict, but we haven't learned how to add it, right? Okay, so we're gonna come back to this question later on, but we know that key would be phone number, right? So we have a note here, phone number here, and like this is going to be name here. Okay. Oh, you did in the lab? Lab num lecture. What is lab num lecture? So in the lab, the questions are about list or dictionary now, like in this week. Can anyone let me know?
อาจารย์ถามว่าอะไรนะคะ
I'm asking in the lab for this week, what are those questions about? They are about lists or they are about dictionary.
Both. I would say you need to use both.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of hard. Yeah, it was pretty hard.
Oh, really? It is a dictionary already? Okay. So it means that we're gonna speed up. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna learn how to modify a dictionary. For example, how can we add an item or replace the existing item with a new item? Okay, so this is quite similar to a list modification, um, except that in rather than using an index, we use a key, right? Okay, so for example, if you want to create like if you want to add a phone number of body slam, if you know this band, and maybe I put one here just to indicate that it is Pitoon, okay, because there are it is a band, right? There are many people in there. Okay, so my key here is a tuple of this, and then I can just assign it to a new phone number here. So this is going to be the value and this is going to be a new key, because this key is never like this key doesn't never exist before, right? In a dictionary phone book, if you can remember it. Okay, so if I run this, what's gonna happen is that in the diagram, it's gonna add a pair of key and value here, and the key is a tuple. It means that it's gonna have the pointer to a multiple boxes here, and each one gonna point to another constant, which is a string and an integer. Okay, and the value gonna point to, actually this is wrong here, it's gonna be, oh, it is correct one. Okay, yeah, because it is a string. So in a memory, we keep a string box here, and this gonna point to that string. Okay, so if we can print out, wait, more please. Uh, Sorry. Okay, if I print it out first, just to see what is stored in the phone book so far. So we can see that a new key is here. Okay. Okay. And what happened if I say phone book then, and then I reassign to a new value, which is here. Because then exists in a key in a dictionary before, right? So this statement will replace the previous phone number of Dan here with a new phone number here. Okay, so what happened here is that at the position of the key value pair here that has the key as Dan here, the pointer that points to this number gonna be deleted, gonna be removed, and then it kind of create another pointer to a new value here. Okay, so it means that if I print out phone book here, okay, so Dan has already a new phone number. So just to keep in mind that in a dictionary, we cannot have repetitive keys. It cannot happen that Dan with the old number and another Dan with a new number. It's not gonna be like that. Okay. Oh, are you sure you are grown up with Pitun? Or maybe you can call like Uncle Toon, maybe. Okay, so we are the same generation then. Okay, so if you want to delete an item, how can we do that? The same as before that we know we can use the command del here. Okay, and then if you want to delete phone numbers of big, so we can say del phone big here. And what we're gonna see is that the big's phone number and the key big, which is the name, right, already disappeared. What happened is that it's gonna shrink, the dictionary box here gonna shrink into just 3 items. Okay, also we can I think we can do like this as well. Del is implemented as a function now, so we can do this. Okay, but because big is gone already, so it's gonna give us the key error here, but you can use like del as a function as well. Okay. Here. Okay. So I have shown you already what's gonna happen if there is no key to delete. So it's gonna, the error gonna be rest, like key error, because there is no the toys phone number. Okay. Yeah, so this is an explanation. So when you do in the lab or when every time you code, use the errors explanation as well. Okay, so if you want to delete the entire dictionary, it is like any variables in the program. You can use del phone book or del, and then put the phone book as a parameter in it. Okay, I'm gonna comment here. It is the same as del space phone book. Okay, and then if I want to print it out, the error will be res with the name error, like phone book is not defined. So the program doesn't know phone book anymore. Okay. Okay. So, okay, so we know how to add, remove, or delete items in the dictionary already, right? So let's talk about again how to create a dictionary. Okay, given the key value pairs here, how can we do that? So the first method is we can just do it by hand, right? Manually putting each key value pair in a in a curly bracket here. Okay, so this is for the first item, right? Model is like Cooper S, and then year is 2020. Fuel tank is like this one. Dimension is here. Contact in Thailand, the value is here. So this is a dictionary name Mini. Anyone likes Mini? Okay. If I run this, so this is the first method. Everyone knows this already. And then the second method, because we know how to add an item into a dictionary already, right? So we can start with an empty dictionary. There are two ways to write a code to create an empty dictionary. So we can use this line, mini, and then equals to an empty, like just a pair of curly bracket. Okay, tutor artist. Okay, yeah. Okay, and also we can create an empty dictionary using a dict followed by a parenthesis, a pair of parentheses here as well. Okay, it is a class in Python. Okay, like this. Okay, and then we're gonna gradually add an item using this form. So like the name of a dictionary and then the key, then we can assign with the value that we want to be associated with it. Okay, here, 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 here. So maybe in this way, even though it is manually, it is like manual as before, but maybe it is easier to read, right? That we know that, oh, there are like 5 items and the keys are here and the values are here. Okay, of course, because okay, so there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways to create a dictionary, right? So you can create it using a single line, or you can like add an item. That you can first create an empty dictionary and then add an item one by one. Okay, if you know this, can we go back to the previous question regarding how to create a new phone book? Where is it? Here. Given that there is a phone book of a million of people, with the keys is the name, right? And then the value is a string of like phone number, like something like this, right? But there are some people that who have 2 phone numbers or multiple phone numbers. Those phone numbers are in a list. Okay, whatever. If I copy it here, like this. Okay, there are just two scenarios that if they have just only one number, it's gonna be a string as a value. But if they have like multiple phone numbers here, the value is gonna be wrapped up with a list. So, but if imagine if we have like millions of items in a phone book, how can we do that? Like blah 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 here. Can we add it manually one by one using like a hard code here? Like here, and we use it then here, and then whatever down there with the millions of lines. No, right? Yes, we're gonna use for loop. What is the first line? Before we use for loop to add item one by one. If you want to add an item one by one, we need to use the second method to create a dictionary, right? Which is, firstly, we need to create an empty dictionary first. And then we need to iterate over the previous phone book, right? For something in phone book. And then we need to ask ourselves, do we want both key and value? Yes, we want that. Maybe item might be easier, right? Oh, yes. Thank you, not to get. So you name it as name and number, which is good because we know that the key is name and the value is number. So then what is next? Okay, so there are two scenarios, right? But when we write the first program, kind of the first draft, we kind of ignore the difficult cases first. Okay, so if we assume that everyone has only one number, what are we going to do? So we are going to add an item, right, to a new phone book, but this time we need to swap the phone number to be a key and the name to be a value, right? Okay, so the key will be number and the value to be name, like this. Okay, and so for this one, actually, we can test it by delete this one first. Okay, because we're gonna test the case where each person has only one number, right? Okay, and we need to print out new phone book. Okay, it's here. So in this way, we can search by phone number already, right? Okay, so what if there is another person that have multiple phone number? Here, which is like we don't know who. Maybe like some iteration, some routes that we iterate over an items, we can just find out, oh, this one have a multiple phone numbers. Okay. I will answer Nida and not to get later, okay? So in this case, first we need to check if this person, like this person, has only one number or not, right? So we can manage properly. Okay, how can we check that? So we can check type of number because we know that if anyone has multiple phone numbers, it's gonna store in a list, right? So we check if it is a list or not. If it is a list, we're gonna do something here. But if it's not, we already know how to manage it already, right? Like this. Okay, if it is a list, how can we do that? And not to get suggest, can we have a key as a tuple, right? Like because number is a list and it like a list cannot be a key because it is mutable. The key must be immutable. So we need to change it into tuple. Can we do this? And then this is gonna be name, right? Do you think can we do this? As Natalia say. Oops, error, what is it? Type error, unhashable type list. So if I have a code here first, so if I have a list of 1, 2, just for short, and then when I do this, like X is gonna be like this, right? And I want to know if it is a tuple yet, I can just call the function type. No, why not? There's no comma, right? If I write comma here, it's gonna be tuple already. But if I do just wrap this list as a parenthesis with a pair of parentheses here, it cannot convert X into tuple because like don't forget that a pair of parentheses can do many things. It can represent a function, right? Like but there is no like no text or no code in the front, so a parenthesis can represent just a like to represent just the order to calculate. For example, if I do this, here, so it means that we need to concatenate the list first and then multiply by 2, isn't it? X. See? So concatenate it first and then multiply by 2, which means repeat it again. If I don't have the parentheses, it means that I gonna do the multiply first, right? So I gonna repeat this list first and then concatenate with this one. So just a pair of parentheses. It is not enough to make a variable to be a tuple. Okay, how can we do that? We know that, yes, we know that, not to get this right. So we know that we have a function like list, int, string, float, just to convert in a variable to be that type, right? Tuple, and then follow by, and then give tuple function with this. Okay. Now, now the error is gone. What happened is, so the key would be like a tuple of 4 numbers here. Do you think if it is okay now? So read the question again. Create a phone book dictionary. Create a phone book dictionary that we can search by a phone number. For example, if we have like this phone number from someone, if we want to search by this number, can we search that? No, right? Because there is no key that has this value exactly. No exact value of this number as a key. So how can we do that? We need to modify it again. We need to modify the code. We need to design a new dictionary. By what? So the problem is here, right? We're not gonna do this. because we want, so just for this question, we want a key to be just a string or phone number, okay, just for this specific question. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna iterate over like maybe num over over the list of phone numbers, which is number, right? Because if number is a list, so we can iterate over it. And then for each element, which is num, for each element, we assign the same name. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. We can see that here, this number is associated with beam, and also this number is also associated with beam. Why can we do this? Because beam, we can have the same value, right? We cannot just have the same key, but we can have the same value with different keys, okay? Okay, so for this one, if we can search by using phone number here, like this gonna be Beam's phone number. Okay, so Nida was asking if one phone number belongs to two people. Yeah, we cannot do that, right? Because we use phone number as a key. We cannot have, oh, we can do that by adding like we can decide the values to be stored in each key. So in each phone number, we can make it as a list. Okay, so in that case, it maybe it is very hard to happen in a phone book scenario, right? Because there should be just only one person register with one number. Okay, maybe in the future, yes, but not now. But I have another question that have this scenario. Okay, here I will give you the file called genome.csv, which has two columns representing chromosome typos. Chromosome numbers and genes, respectively. And can you write a program to read the data from this file into a dictionary where keys are chromosomes and values are genes? So to download the genome file using Colab, I give you this command. Okay, if I run this block, okay, and then if I want to see just only the top lines, I can use this command here. Okay, so we can see that there is a header line, and for each line it contains the chromosome number, like chromosome 6, and then this genes, right? And also we can see that chromosome 1, because a chromosome is quite long, there are many genes. So what is kept in the file is like the chromosome number and the gene, and there is another line to keep another genes if there is in the same chromosome number. So we can see like the repeated one here, but different gene names here. And there are like, I don't know, maybe like thousands of lines, because in the human genome, how many genes do we have? Around 20,000 genes. I'm not sure if this file contains all of them, but for sure it is like hundreds of lines. Okay, so code here. How can we read this file into a dictionary where the keys are what? Where keys are chromosomes number and values are genes. So we need to decide how to like what is the key look like. and what is the value looks like. So I think we can decide by key and value here, right? Key can be just an integer or a string, whatever. Like 6, value to be TAF11 here, right? It should be string as well. So we can focus on the problematic chromosome number 1 here. How do you decide to keep these two values together in a dictionary? So we can use what? A list, right? Like if we read this one, we're gonna add into this list. When we read another line that has the same chromosome, we're gonna add it into the same list of one here, right? Can we use tuple here? No, because tuple cannot be modified. We need to modify it along the way that we read the file, right? Okay, so we know what a dictionary that we're gonna create looks like already. So what we do next is to write this program. We're gonna start from reading the file. So for what? For line, right? In a file, file genome here. We need to open it first, right? F genome and open genome.csv because I downloaded already, so it is here in this computer. So I can just use the file names. Okay, and then just don't forget to close it. Okay. For the first line, it's gonna be the header, and we don't need it, right? If we don't need it, maybe we can just read the first line first. So F genome, we know that read line, right? Read line, isn't it? Okay. Do you remember how it works? So when we open the file, there is a pointer or cursor, like cursor here, right? At the beginning. And then when we read line, it's gonna read this line out. We can keep it to a variable x, and x will have like this line, which is the entire string here. But actually we don't need to keep it because we have nothing to do with this text, right? We can just read it just to slide the cursor or the pointer to be at the end, or actually to be a new line here, like here. Okay, so when we use for line in F genome, the first line or the first text that we're gonna get is 6, TAF11. And then we're gonna split, right? Split by a comma to have chromosome number and gene, right? We can see that this will give you a list. A list, a tuple, a dictionary, like a list, a tuple, it is iterable, like it is a collection. So if we know if we know how many items in it, we can create the same number of variables to cache it. Okay. Okay, so this will be string, like 6, right? And TAF11 here. What else? We need to create a dictionary. So before going into the loop, we need to have a dictionary. Names what? Maybe name genome dictionary. We need to create an empty dictionary first, right? And then after reading this line, we're gonna add it into a dictionary, right? Genome underscore dict. How can we add it? We need to have the key, right? We need to do like the assignment statement, right? Key would be what? Key would be 6, which is stored in chr variable here, right? And then gene here. Is it? Okay. Okay. If I run this, and then maybe I want just to print out, it's going to be long. See what happens. So if I run this, it's very fast, even though there are multiple lines of in the file, right? Or maybe I cut it already. It's not 20,000 genes, but still a lot. Okay. So we can see that. Okay, number 6. Why is PPT 2 with the backslash n here as well? Or maybe before split, I need to do strip first, just to get rid of all the space or all the like put backslash n here. Okay, but why it is PPT2? Why it is not TAF11? It should be like there should be these genes, like the lines of 6 comma PPT2 down there in the file, right? So for this line, because the key is the same, which is 6, so the existing value would be replaced by the latest value in the file, which is PPT2 here. So TAF11 will be replaced by other genes. Okay, so in this way, we cannot keep all the genes that are associated with the chromosome number correctly or properly. So how can we do this? Is first, we need to check, right? Because there are two cases. Like if Chrome maybe how can we do this? How can we do this? Yes, I haven't taught you, but you can guess by using the previous knowledge, right? We can use if it is like if a dictionary has this key or not. How can we check it? If this chromosome already in, we can use in to check if it is if this key exists in this dictionary or not. And else, okay, there are two cases, right? If it is in, how can we do what can we do that that? And if it is not, so if it is not, we can just assign it to a list. So like here should be like a list of one gene, so that the value can be modified later on. Okay, but if it is already in the genome dictionary, how can we do that? Because this is already a list, right? Because if it is not, so if it is not, maybe I can do this as well. Okay, for the first time, if we see if we read the file and then if we see the first if we see 6, for example, in the first time, so 6 would not be in the dictionary before. We're gonna add a list of 1 gene here, right? But later on, when we read throughout the file, we're gonna see 6 again, and then it's gonna be in this case, which is 6 is in the key of this genome already. How can we do this? So we're gonna add there are many ways to do this. We're gonna add this gene into the list, right? We know that this is gonna give us a list, so we can use append. Yeah. Remember that we can use append an item to the list. Okay, can we run this again? Okay, here. So we can see that chromosome number 6, there are 4 genes here, TAF11 for the first time that we see, right? And then later on in the file, there are these 3 genes as well. So can we check for maybe the chromosome number 1 here, right? So YBX1 is the first element, and then we append IER5 in the list, and for chromosome number 1, there are many genes here. Okay, so just to know that in is not a function, it's just a what we call maybe keyword, or we can say like command or operation. Yeah, like an operation, because there is no what, a pair of parentheses, so in is not a function. Okay, we can use this. Okay, or instead of this line, what happened? Okay, nothing. Okay, instead of this line, I can do, because I know that if I access the value of this key, it's gonna be a list because I created here, right? I can do plus, like concatenate using a plus sign as well. So you know, right? When I do this, you know this convention, right? It's the same as like this plus something. Okay, this is another gene, right? So I can concatenate another list of 1 gene to the existing list here. The result would be the same. See? Okay. 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 I think that's it. Any question? Okay. So the next topic is about shallow copy. What we might accidentally do is, for example, if we have like with this first, if we have x equal to a dictionary, so it means that we assign x with a dictionary, right? This is a key, and this is a value that is associated with 3 here, and we can accidentally or maybe intentionally do a equals to x. What's gonna happen is that a and x would be the same, like if you remember the diagram, so for the first line we're gonna have x here, we're gonna have a box, an x here, right? And then a pointer to a dictionary, like key value, right? And this, and just only 1 item in it, and then this gonna point to, this is value and this is key. This gonna point to 3, right? This gonna point to 1 here. Okay, and for the second line, in the memory logically, it creates a box to contain the variable name a, and then create a pointer to x. But it is not like this, right? We never learned this. We know that it's gonna point to the same object that x is pointing to. So which is here, the same dictionary here. What's gonna happen if I reassign a at the key? This is the key, not an index, okay? Because a is a dictionary. To 3, it's gonna happen that the same key here, right? It's gonna remove here, and then it's gonna like point to 3 here. And for this line, for the fourth line, it has a new key value 4 here, right? New key, which is 4, which is associated with 4 here as well as a value, right? And then also have a new key here as well, like this will point to what? A4. Okay, so this will point to 5 first because the value, like the key value is 5, right? And then this will point to A4. What is A4? A4 is 3 here, but because 3 is a constant, it is not a collection or it is not a collection of variable. So it's gonna create another 3 here. Okay, and then point to 3 here. Okay, and then A4 to 44. So number 6 line, it's gonna delete this pointer that is pointing to 4 here to what? Go to 44 here. Okay, but the point here, the main point here is that I'm gonna show you that if I run this, the value of a and the value of x gonna be the same. Even though the value of x previously is there is just only one item here, but later on we modify a lot into this dictionary, and before that we kind of associated a with x. So we can see that x and a point to the same object. So once we create anytime that whenever we create we modify this object through a or through x, the value of x and a gonna be affected. Okay, so we can see also that in the memory ID, maybe we call memory ID, we can check it using the function called ID to check if it is pointing to the same object or not. So we can see that the ID is the same. It means that these two variables point to the same object. So once the object is modified, it's gonna affect the other as well. Okay, that's why we call shallow copy. Any question? Oh, I want to delete here. Okay. So the question is, copy the items into the new dictionary name Y, like copy X, like so that modification in one dictionary does not affect the other. That's we call deep copy. How can we do that? Now I want to copy X into Y. Now X is here. How can we do this? We cannot use Y equals to X anymore, right? Because we already know that this is shallow copy. How can we do this? So yeah, for loop. Okay, for we need to we can do comprehension, but just remember that comprehension is just another way to create a list, a tuple, or a dictionary. It is not necessary to use comprehension. So if you can write comprehension, that is always another way to create a dictionary using a convention for loop. Okay. We can then use multiple lines first. We can then do comprehension later on. Okay, so because we want both key and value, so I'm gonna write like 4K. Or maybe, I mean, we can use this, but this time, because I used this many times, so maybe I want you to revise how to use just only um, uh, just only the keys. Okay. Okay, so x in x dot keys. About this. Okay. Because we want to create a new dictionary, so we can create y first with an empty dictionary here. So just in this way, y is a new dictionary, which is like y is pointing to a new object already, right? And then we kind of add y one by one, right? So to be the same key with the same value of x here, right? That's it. So print y here. See, they have the same value. And then we can also print id of y as well. Maybe id of y first, and then the value. Okay, then we can see print the id of x and the value if they're the same. So we can see that the value is the same, right? Like this is the same, but the id is different, which means if I modify x, like maybe add this key to a different value, maybe 33 here. Again, if I print it again, we can see that only x that is modified is affected, y is still the same. Because what? Because it is different objects. It is pointing to different objects already. So this is one way to create another new, like how to copy from a dictionary to the other using a deep copy. Okay. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. So next we're gonna do we're gonna see basic operations here. Okay. The first one is update. So this is a void function. Still remember, right? A void, there are two types of functions, a value returning function and a void function that is not return, that doesn't return anything. So this is a void function to update the dictionary with another dictionary. How to use it? This is the format. So dictionary to be updated, you can use the variable or a dictionary here, and then you call it dot update, followed by a pair of parentheses, because this is a function. And if you have a dictionary, like if you want to update this dictionary with the items in this dictionary, so you need to put a dictionary here. Okay, maybe it is confusing when I say it. We can see by example. For example, if a phone book is a dictionary here, right? And we also have an international phone book here, like Blackpink. You can call it. You can call her by this number as well. Then BTS, blah blah here. This is too short, maybe. Okay. If I want to update a phone book, like this phone book, my phone book, with the international phone book. So the order would be I update phone book dot update with this one, right? So when I run this, everything in the international phone book here will be transferred, will be updated to this phone book here. So in my phone book, apart from Dan, Beam, and Big, Dan is here, Big is here, Beam and here. We also have BTS and Blackpink uh, uh, new phone numbers. But because Dan here, this is maybe different Dan, but just to be careful that if we have the same keys here, it's gonna be like the value, the associated values gonna be updated by the new number. So by the new number in this dictionary. So we can see that like Dan has a new number already. Okay, so just to be careful. Okay, and just to keep in mind one thing that when we want to update it, what is inside the update function needs to be a dictionary. Okay. Okay. And another thing that I want to keep um, you in mind that we cannot use append. Why not? The error says that attribute error. Dict object has no attribute append. Attribute here means that has no function append. Why? Because a dictionary has no order, right? When we use append, it means that we're gonna add an item in the end of something. But because a dictionary has no order, there is no last item, we don't know which is the last item, so we cannot append anything. Okay, so they change it into the function name update. Okay. Okay, another function is keys. We know what is keys already, so when we use it, it's gonna return all keys in the dictionary. Like the type gonna be a specific type called dict keys here. Okay, and we can convert it into list by using list function. And because it gonna returns every key like this, it is iterable. That's why we can use for loop. Okay, here we know this. Okay, and also we know this as well without dot keys here. By default, is this line gonna iterate over the keys. Okay, so this one is not difficult. You can do it by your own, okay? So given a dictionary, can you write a code using keys function to iterate each key in the data? Okay, next is values. We already know this as well, that values gonna return all values in the dictionary with the type, with a specific type called dict values. It is not the list, but it is this type specifically. And we can convert it into the list if we want to. We can convert it into a tuple if we want to as well. Okay, but the idea is how to use it with a for statement because it is iterable. It is a collection. Anything that is a collection or anything that can be iterated or iterable, we can use with the for statement. Okay. And also items here. it's gonna returns all key value pairs. See, it is a tuple. It is a kind of a list of tuples, okay? But it is wrapped up with an object called dict items. We can change it into list as well. So we can see what is inside the dict items is the list of tuples. Yeah, because it is a tuples, there are two ways to catch the values that are iterated using for loop here, right? So if you have just only one single variable, this variable gonna be a tuple here, both here. So if you want to separate the key and value, how can we do that? I'm gonna print it out. The key. So because tuple, we can access each element in the tuple by index, right? So we know that it is a pair of key and value. So it means the size of the tuple is going to be always 2, right? So the index that we can use is just 0 and 1. So here I extract just only the key, and this is just the value here. Okay, for beam is here, right? Key is here, and the value is the list here. Okay. Okay. Maybe I have a small example here that have nothing to do with items, but just to remind you again that uh, because this is phone book, if I want to access the first number of beam, how can we do that? Like we can access first by using the key beam, right? Through the key first, because a phone book is a dictionary. But when we use this, it is already a value that is associated with beam, which is a list already, right? So we can access it by what? The first number is here. By using a list accession manner, okay? Okay, and also for items, we know that we know already that for every item, it's gonna has um, uh, two items in a tuple. So we can have like 2 variables to cache it up. Okay, then next is the family function that we use it quite often, which is len, which stands for length. It's gonna returns the number of items in the dictionary. Okay, length of phone book now is 5 because it's like 5 pairs of keys and values. Length of data also has a data is a dictionary as well, like somewhere above. You can try and run it. Okay, maybe I can just print out the data first so that we can count it by hand and also print out the size. See, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, length minute. We have 5 items in there. And length of an empty dictionary, which gonna be 0 because it is an empty dictionary. Okay. Can we do this? Can you give me the answer of this question, please, in the chat room? So if you want to know the answer, you can just run it. But because in the exams, you are not allowed to run it using the program, so you need to do, you need to be able to do it by hand. What is it? Okay, so D2 here gonna, so what is the dictionary, what is updated? So D1 will be updated, right? Using D2 values or D2 items. Okay, the solution is, I need to print it out and print D1 here. Okay, so because, okay, so we can start with maybe D2. There is no 0 in D1, so 0 gonna be here and 1 to be signed because same value, so nothing happened. And 2 gonna be Monday. There is only exists in D1. 3 Tuesday, 4 Wednesday, and then we have 4, 5, 6 of D2 updated in D1 already, so D1 gonna be here. Okay, so next question gonna be D3 equal to D1, maybe what else? Maybe like this one. What is X? What is the value of X? Hello, are you guys still with me? Yay! First answer is none. Yes, it is none because the update function is a void function, so it's gonna return none. Okay, and if I write this again, so it's gonna update D1 again, and D1 is here now, and D2 is kind of subset of D1 already, right? So D1 gonna be the same. Okay. So the next topic is the dictionary comprehension. The comprehension is kind of a way to create a list or a dictionary or a tuple with a single line. Okay, so it's just another manner to create a dictionary. Okay, for example, if we have a num dictionary created by these multiple lines here. So firstly, num dictionary is created with an empty dict here. Oh, Nataget is asking why the value of X is none, because an update is a void function. What it is done is it is gonna update D1, like if you notice in this line, right? So it's gonna update this dictionary with D2. So D1 gonna be modified itself. Okay. And it returns nothing outside of the function. One thing that I haven't taught you explicitly is like if we have a function, maybe f1 here, if the parameter here before, okay, so if x and then maybe x equal to x plus 1, okay, oops, no, okay, when we call f1, f1, and then when we send like 2 inside, okay, and then maybe y here, and if I want to print y, and also maybe what else? If x is 2 here, and then I send x here, okay. If I want to, and in the end I want to print out what is the value of x and y. So the value of x is still 2 because x is here, right? X is 2. Oh, okay. I can walk through this short program. So here x is 2, so this is in the main program, right? X is 2. Then for this one, it's gonna call f1, jump to f1 here. So this is the f1 kind of logic memory. And then x is 2, right? So 2 gonna pass to here. So 2 gonna pass to here. And then 2 plus 1 gonna be 3. And then 3 gonna be assigned to x, right? But this is already the last line in the function. It's gonna return back to where it is called. So the program will return back to here. And also everything in the logic memory of this function is, or in the scope of this function is deleted before it returns, right? Okay, so this one gonna assign to y. What is returned by the function like f1 gonna be assigned to y, but because the f1 like there is no return, which means nothing to return, and the symbol of nothing is none, right? So y gonna be none here. Okay, and then when I want to print out x, so x gonna be 2 here and y gonna be none. Okay, in this case yes, but what about this case? Any questions for this case? No, right? Okay. If I do this, maybe change to like a list, and then I just have a note that x must be a list. Okay, so x here, x, I can note that x must be a number. Okay, this is just a note for user. Okay, so if x is a list, so I need to make a list, and what it does is it's gonna concatenate. It's gonna concatenate with a list of 1. Okay. Okay. What's gonna happen is, here. Wait. If I change to here. Okay. So that is another example then. So maybe this one first. Okay, so focus on this. Maybe if I call F2, and this is F3 here. Okay, so for F2, what I did inside the function is to append, right? So what happened is that when the program run this one in the main logic memory is like, okay, x kind of has a box, right? Points to a multiple box where actually now there is only 2 inside because it is a list. Remember this, right? Okay. Then y equals to f2x, so it means that it's gonna find out where the f2 is, and then it's gonna send or gonna pass x to this function, but because x is the value, right, of a list of 2. So what is gonna pass to this function is here, okay? And then because x is a list, so it is mutable. It means it can be mutated like by any function or in anything, right? Okay, so and then what I did is like x dot append 1, which means it's gonna extend this list, right, with another box that points to 1 here. Then okay, maybe uh when it passed to this, what happened is that, so they create another x here, but it's gonna point uh to the same list here. Okay, and then because this is already modified, right, it returns nothing. So this function, when it finished executing these lines of code, it returned back to where it is called, and then it returns nothing, right? So it returned what? It returned none to y. So y here gonna be none because it returns nothing, and this gonna be gone. This is gone after executing. Okay. That's why what happened in the last line is that when we want to print x out, x is already changed because it is mutable. Okay, and y is still the same, it is none. You got it? Okay. I explained this case because it is the same scenario with the update. Like there is a function called update somewhere in the dictionary class that when we pass a dictionary, like this is D2, right? When we pass another new dictionary, it's gonna update kind of, this is a bit advanced. But remember that for this one, it's gonna update D1. So D1 is mutable. D1 is a dictionary which is mutable. It can be modified. And once it is modified, because D1 here is point to a dictionary and modified by this function, okay? So there's no need to like assign again with like D1 need to be this, okay? So the programmer kind of define the update function is a void function, which returns nothing. But what it is called update, which is this dictionary, is already updated. Is it confusing? Okay. This a bit advanced because it is in, you need to know the object-oriented programming first, but it is out of scope in this class. So maybe we need to remember a bit that if it is a void function, it means that it's the same manner everywhere, that if it is a void function, it returns nothing, which means it returns none. Okay. For F3, this is another example that I'm gonna say that even though the list is changed here, but because the way that I change the list is to make a new list, right? And then I do assign with the same variable. So it means that x in this variable is a new variable locally inside F3. That's why x here which is a global variable here, is not modified. Okay, but this is kind of out of scope of this class. Be sure that, be happy that I won't have the exam like this. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the dict comprehension. Okay, so if I want to create a dictionary of integers from 0 to 9, and what? Wait. Oh, okay. I want to create a dictionary where keys are integers from 0 to 9, but the values are twice as large as their keys. How can we use a dict comprehension to create it? Okay, so maybe firstly we can create it with a classical way. So because we know that the keys are kind of a running number from 0 to 9 with step of 1, right? So we can use a for loop. So firstly we create an empty dictionary first called numdict, and then we're gonna add an item one by one into this dictionary. We're gonna iterate over a number, right, from 0 to 9. Okay, and then because I gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, so it's gonna be used as a key here, right? And then for each one, it will have the value that is like twice, double the value of the key. So I just 2 times I, and then assign it to this position, which is this key. So in this way, I can just create the dictionary required by this question, isn't it? Okay, so how can we convert this into a dict comprehension? Okay, so this is the same as before. Maybe I can start from the beginning. So firstly, because a dictionary comprehension is the way to create a dictionary. So we can like start by name a variable equals and then a pair of curly brackets. Then what is inside is we can use the for loop here, right? Here, okay? It's gonna generate I, like which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And here in the front position here, right? We're gonna think what we want it to be a member. What we want to be a member. So we want, and a member in a dictionary is a pair of key and value. Of course, there should be a colon here to separate between keys and value. Okay. Okay, what is key? Key is I, isn't it? Right? And then we want the value to be twice as large as its key. So it's going to be key here. Actually, it is here, right? This is the value and this is the key. But in a dictionary comprehension way, we need to write it with the colon style. Oops. I here. Okay, get it? Here, exactly the same result, using just only one line. Okay. Okay, but this one, if we want just only the even integers to be a key, like from 0 to 9, so in this way, in a classical way, we can just have the if statement within the for loop just to check if that number we want to be the key of the non-even dictionary or not. Okay, so this is the result. And in a dictionary comprehension way, it is just that. We're gonna do it one more time here. We can just create a new variable that we want to create, and then we can use assignment and a pair of curly bracket here. And then because the comprehension we always use with the for loop, right? For gonna be here. And what is inside here? What is the membership of the dictionary? So it needs to be a pair. Remember, it needs to be a pair of key and value. So key is going to be I and value going to be 2 times I, right? But we also have a conditional statement, which is an if. And remember that we're going to kind of we're going to have if after for. Okay, for I in range 10, if I mod 2 equals to 0, we're going to use I as the key and 2 times I as the value. It is quite straightforward, right? Okay, when I run this, we're going to get the same result. Okay, question is here. Let a list is here, like has the value of COVID-19, coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. Create a dictionary where keys are the words in a list and their values are the corresponding word size or length using dict comprehension. Can you do this? You can send me the code. Or maybe partial code. Anyone? Okay, because we want to create a dictionary, so we call a dict. Then a pair of curly brackets. And inside the curly bracket, we need to have for. But what we gonna iterate over is, yay, thank you, not to get. Okay, I follow the not to get's code here, okay? So not to get say he iterates over the list here because we need to access each element in the list. So for I in a list, right? And then what is after iterate over the list, what we want to use it to be a member of a dictionary. Not to just say that, okay, you're gonna use I, right? Which is like COVID-19, a string here. And then the value is gonna be the size, which is length of I, right? The number of characters inside. Okay, thank you, not to get here. Oh, okay. Here, okay, that's correct. That's correct. Okay, what else? Okay, we are here, so there are 3 main topics left. The next topic is actually I think for the dictionary is already like the main points are you have learned all the main concept of a dictionary. For this one, it is kind of an application of the dictionary. So we can use a dictionary for counting, like wait, this one. Oh, okay. So there's a question here. Okay. Because for a dictionary, it is easy to add any key, right? And then it's gonna automatically check if this key is already like exists or not. If it is not, it's gonna like add it, add the value automatically. Okay. So there is a questionnaire contains two questions, and each requires a yes or no answer. So it is like uh, the participants can answer yes for both questions or yes, no respectively, or no, yes, or no for both questions. Can we count the number of the following scenarios? Like, can we count all of these cases? Like how many people who answer yes for both, yes, no, no, yes, and no for both? Okay. I'm gonna generate the votes.txt file first by random, like you can try to understand what I wrote here as well, like create a votes file, like open a votes.txt, an empty file here, and I'm going to generate 100 votes, like 100 participants, and for each participant I um, this one I just use a random seed just to uh, make sure that every time that I use random is going to be the same, like kind of the same. Okay, for question one, I use random, and then if it is more than 0.5, this participant will answer yes, and else this will answer no. Okay, and then for question two, this one I use another random seed. It's the same. Okay, and then I write an answer here 100 times. Okay, you can check. Vote here. And here, there are all the answers. Okay. Okay. So we can count it without the use of dictionaries, right? So this is all the code. Actually, we have done this before. If I leave this file open, okay. So firstly, we kind of open this file first, and then don't forget to close it, okay. And then if I want to count those 4 cases, I need to have how many variables? I need to have 4 variables to count, right? Count, yes, yes, count, yes, no, count, no, yes, and count, no, no. And starting, like initialize them with 0. Okay, and then I need to have the total count as well, because we don't know how many people or how many participants are there in the file. For each line, we count the participants. I kind of split answer 1 and answer 2 with space, and this will eliminate the \n already. Okay. And if answer 1 is yes, answer 2 is yes, I increment the count YY here, and else if this is like else if yes, no, I increment this variable instead. And for this case, I increment the other like variable, that the corresponding variables, the corresponding counter, okay, for each case. And then I can just print out everything. I divide it by the total number, oops, yeah, and then multiply by 100 to make it as a percentage. Okay. And okay, so this is the answer. Okay, and then we have to do it using a dictionary for counting. How can we do that? Is it easy that we can first, instead of having these like 4 variables, we can bundle them into just one variable named counter, and then we use the key as like yes, yes. We can use a tuple as a key, right? And initialize it with the 0 value here. See? Okay, I have 4 keys, like 4 items in this one. Or what I comment here is that we can have this as a key to represent the answers of yes, yes. It depends on our design. Okay, so if we use this design first, I don't need to count the number of the total participants. I mean, for this one, actually, we don't need it. We don't need the total as well, right? We can count the total by what? By like, you can count after closing the file as well. Total equal to count y plus count yn plus count and y plus count and n, right? Okay, we can do this either. Okay, this way. Okay, so if I want this design, right, when I read each line, okay, I do line dot split just to have yes and yes separately, but I change it to tuple so that it can be used as a key. Then instead of having 4 if statements, I have just only one line by using the key, because the key already kind of, when we use the key, it is the same as when we kind of select the scenarios. So in this way, we use the key to select the scenario, right? Because the key will tell itself if it is yes, yes scenario or yes, no scenario. And then I increment it by 1. Okay, so the code is very short here, right? Okay. So actually, if you like remove all the comments here, we can see that the code is shorter because it reduced the 4 if statements into just one line. Okay, and this is close, and then okay, because and then total, we can count, we can sum the values here, right? We can sum all the value here. But remember that we have the function names values that returns all the values of the counter already. And actually, we can turn it into a list, right? And then once we return it into a list, it's gonna be a list of numbers. And then we can use the sum function just to sum it up. Okay. But actually we can give into the sum function without converting into a list, because if sum function is quite smart that it can get the collection, like or the iterable variable. But I mean, okay, just to make sure that we have known before that the sum function can be used with a list, so we convert it into a list first. Okay, and then we can print it out. Instead of printing this, we print what? Instead of printing this, we need to use for loop to access every like key and value inside, right? Inside what? In counter dot items. And then we need to print k and maybe separated by a colon, and then v here. No, the value needs to be divided by total and times 100 to make it to be a percentage. Okay. Here it is the same. The result will be the same. Okay. We can also have the same result here as well by access each question answer, like each because we know that the question is like it is stored as a tuple, right? So we can access each element by using an index. Like the first, this is for the answer for the first question, and this is the answer for the second question. So if you print it in this way, it's gonna like the result gonna look the same as above. Okay, so it is time. So next time on Friday, can you write this code, please? Here. Okay, so see you on Friday. If you have the code already, you can post it in the Microsoft team. I can create a post. Yeah, I mean, you can comment it there. Okay, see you on Friday.